Hey guys, it's LegoBoys3. These are my top 5 favorite cubic puzzles. Okay, so today I'm doing another top 5 video, and I'm going to be doing cubes, so like actually 6-sided cubes, not pillowed cubes, but just cubes that are kind of non-WCA cubes, so not like the standard 3x3 stuff, just kind of random cubes that are my favorite. And so a lot of you guys always complain about, hey, that's not a cube, that's a dodecahedron, but whatever, they're all called cubes. But this is actually going to be actual cubes, cubic cubes. And so first up, I actually looked through my cubes, and there actually weren't a whole ton of them that weren't WCA, non-WCA ones, and that also were cubic. And so this one was a really cool one. That was a mod I did a long time ago, like quite a long time ago, a year or so ago. And it actually turned out really well. It's a Bandaged mod, the only Bandaged mod I've ever made. And yeah, it's actually pretty cool for the only one that I have ever made. And so if you've seen my other top 5s before, you've probably seen this cube before, a couple of other ones too. But it's really just a fun puzzle. It's very, very challenging to solve. You have to actually solve it in a checker pattern, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to turn the last layer when you're doing the last layer algorithms, like that. But yeah, it's just a really fun, nice puzzle, and I made it myself, and I'm actually really surprised at the quality of the puzzle. Like, you can see there's little like cuts there where I filled it in and didn't do it quite right, but for a beginner modder, when I started making this puzzle, it actually turned out really well, and it was quite challenging, which is why I didn't film any of the process of doing it, but really overall, it's just a really fun puzzle and a really nice one. It looks really nice too. And so, that's it for this puzzle. Next up on this list we have number 4, which is one you've probably also seen if you've seen my hardest cubes. This is the Mixup cube. And so this one, I mean, it's not incredibly hard, but it is quite challenging. It does have some weird things to it, like parodies. And so, like, I don't know, if I just do something like this real quick, you can see that this edge piece is flipped. Like, this edge piece is flipped, and if I just do a couple of other moves real quick, the whole cube looks normal except one single flipped edge piece, and so it has a lot of parodies and stuff. And I actually have forgotten how to do a lot of these parodies. I still remember this one, but it's just, whoa, that just fell off. It's a really fun puzzle, and it's really interesting when you like show it to a non-cuber. They're like, hey, it's just a normal cube with that's kind of offset, but you do a middle layer turn, and then it just does that, and they just get really confused. And so I really just love the concept of this puzzle and the mechanism of it, how ingenious it is, where you just have the corners, and then a whole bunch of other rotating pieces on axes that can just go one little tiny step at a time. I just really love that, and love how to solve it, and the first stage of it is really unique. It's not like any other cube. And it has all sorts of weird parodies and stuff, so it's really just a nice, fun WCA puzzle, or non-WCA puzzle, to be able to solve. And so that's also why this cube is on the list, and it's also quite challenging, which is why it was on the hardest cubes list. Next up, we have one that you've probably heard of before, if you haven't seen it on my channel before. It's the Void Cube. This is just a standard Rubik's Void Cube, and I know technically this doesn't make it a cube, but it has 6 main sides and they're all flat, so close enough to a cube. And so what this does is it's a 3x3. I'm not really sure if everyone realizes that this is just a normal standard cube with holes in it, because on my Void Cube tutorials, people are always confused, like, wait, you solved this like a 3x3? I thought it was a Void Cube. I didn't realize it was a 3x3. Yeah, people these days. But yeah, it's just a really fun puzzle, and it has a little bit of a parody, but it's not too bad, and just turning it and kind of like being like, you can hold it like this. It's just a really nice concept. I also replaced the stickers on this puzzle, in case you were wondering, because I really didn't like the stock stickers because they were all some weird shade and they had like lines on them. So I got some ones from CubeSmith. I don't think these stickers are actually available anymore because CubeSmith like randomly disappeared someday. I haven't been able to get on their website recently. But yeah, it's just really nice still, and I like it, so there we go. That was the Void Cube. Next up, we have another one that you've probably heard of before, but probably haven't seen on my channel unless you've seen my cube collection. This is the Oskar's treasure chest. And so, aside from the stickers, which are kind of bumpy, it's just a cube. And it, of course, is non-WCA. You may look at it kind of like that one and be like, but that's just a 3x3. How is that non-WCA? It's Meffert's puzzle, of course, but it's an Oscar's treasure chest, so you can open it up like that. That's pretty awesome. And so there's some really cool stuff that you can do with this puzzle besides just the normal solving of it. Of course, you can solve it. You can hide random little things like a USB drive inside here, and all your friends who can't solve a cube won't be able to get to it, and then you can solve it and get to whatever you wanted to. Of course, it can't open when it's not solved. But much like the Mixup cube, I really do just like the mechanism of this, like kind of just taking it apart and being like, what can I do with this? And I've actually made a video a really long time ago where I just took this part, just this part alone, and I scrambled it up just like this, and I tried to solve it without the last layer on. That was a really interesting video. It was made a long time ago, but I think it was pretty fun. And so there's lots of interesting stuff to do with this cube, and yeah, it's just a nice little thing that you can hide stuff from people with, and so I really like this one too. And also, you can do this, which is pretty cool. It's practically just a void cube, but just on one side. And then finally on this list, we have one more that I have shown in one of my last videos. It's the 3x3 shape mod. It is the Moyu Crazy Fisher YiLeng cube. And so like I said on my last, one of my last top 5 videos, this is just a really well-made cube, a really well-made shape mod of a 3x3. Of course, this is just a 3x3. It's just a Fisher version of a 3x3 that's kind of offset a little bit. They have a version of this that's not Fisher, which is also pretty interesting, but it's actually solved exactly like a 3x3. This one is solved exactly like a Fisher cube, except for the centers, of course, which have orientation. And so the centers being able to orient brings up an interesting challenge, just like any other picture cube. You see, we can just rotate a piece in place, but it's cool because it's just a normal 3x3, except with that little extra challenge. And so it doesn't have arrows on it. It's not like a super cube. It's just like a cube, but it has center orientation. And it just looks kind of weird. It shapeshifts a little bit, but really it's very similar and not too much harder than most other cubes. So I really just like this cube just for those reasons, and I kind of want to get the normal version too. And so that's the last cube on this list, the last of these cubic cubes, I guess. So these are my top 5 favorite cubic Rubik's cubes right here. We have Mod, Mixup cube, Void cube, Treasure chest, and this one, YiLeng. And so all of these 4 of them you can buy, and I have links to those down in the description, just from their various sellers. This one's a custom mod, so you won't be able to buy that one, but that's no problem. And if you want to see videos on any of these in particular, I have videos on probably most of them, and so you can check those links down in the description too to find videos on each of these. So if you like this video, then definitely leave a like down below. Leave some suggestions. I definitely do need some more ones of those for future top 5 videos that I can make like this in the future. Give me ideas for lists of top 5 videos. And also stay subscribed to be notified when another video like this comes out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!